I'm resident of Collinwood for YouTube, Jules Sains. I'm joined by my buddy Gordon Dymowski. I'm joined by my buddy Patrick McCray. We're here to continue our Batman movie reviews with Batman Forever, starring Val Kilmer as Bruce Wayne slash Batman. Uh, Tommy Lee Jones is Two-Face, Harvey Dent. Uh,
God, he's
Jim
good.
Carrey is the Riddler. Also, hey, Drew Barrymore makes an appearance in this movie. So, hey, what the hell? Renee Bourgeois makes an appearance in this movie. I probably just butchered his name.
Bergenois.
Or Bourgeois makes an
That's
appearance.
Odo
Yeah.
from DS9.
Yeah, but
That's
the,
Odo.
the question I have is, does in a Bergenois in the woods?
Oh, Why? Why? Oh, no. Oh, no.
Well, this movie Genois all over the place.
Yeah. So, when did you guys first, or we'll start with Gordon. Gordon, when did you first see Batman Forever?
I saw this movie when it came out in the theaters. And at the time, I wish that it were a bag of kittens so I could justify throwing it in a wood chipper.
Oh, wow. Patrick, when
Yeah,
did you
not
first,
good.
when did you
Spoiler,
first?
it's not a good movie.
Oh, my God. It's killing me. The year was 1995. I believe the month was June, either that or it was one of the July 4th releases. And I was working all summer in Louisville, 3 different jobs, 7 days a week, different shifts. It was terrible. And then I had to see this. And to give an indication of how much I really, at the time, disliked the prior 2 movies, at the time, this seemed okay. I think I might have even recommended it to people. God, I was wrong. What a dog. What a terrible, terrible, terrible movie. Misguided in every way.
This was a painful movie to watch, and I can only blame Joel for making me watch this for tonight's podcast.
It was my fault. It's my fault.
Let me.
I don't want to blame you, Patrick. That's.
What happened? I did what to who?
Go ahead,
Where?
Joel.
But what I was gonna say was, look, at the time I watched this movie, I watched this movie at the drive-in, and speaking as a Val Kilmer mark at the time, he was fresh off Tombstone. I actually preferred him in The Saint rather than this. I thought he was really good in that, but this, I think again they went with the hot actor at the time. They weren't, this wasn't like them casting the previous actor that had been casted, as much as I love that actor too.
Yeah.
But the biggest issue I have here is I would not have cast Val Kilmer as Bruce Wayne or Batman.
I don't know if Val Kilmer's BM is that disappointing. It's exactly what Joel Schumacher envisioned when he formed it. But I don't know how Val Kilmer was directed. He's not a bad actor.
No,
could he make a fine Batman? Sure. I don't think no better nor worse than a lot of other people. But clearly he was directed into something really weird.
Yeah.
I mean, his Bruce Wayne is just weird, and I don't know why any one of the movies behaving the way they are.
I think. Well, first, I think I would say 95% of the actors were actually, I will say both, were hired because they had some degree of prominence in movies at that time, and they're doing it and they probably got hefty paychecks because it seems like there's no. I know Schumacher has often said that he directed this as a comic.
As a what?
It's a cartoon.
It's cartoon.
He saw it as, well, it's a comic book. It's a cartoon, and I think that's the biggest problem with this movie. It feels there's no sense of even, at least for Burton's movies, as bad as they are, you get the sense that he at least has some interest in it. He's not doing it just for the check. He's doing it because it's his vision or whatever.
Yeah.
Here, everything is just like, okay, yeah, it's basically just Schumacher's, okay, yeah, I'm getting a paycheck. Let's point the cameras, yeah, put on the bat suit, let's show his leather-clad butt, whatever.
The weird thing is that Joel Schumacher is usually a pretty competent storyteller.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, he really is. And it just, I mean, his movies are flashy, yeah, but he gives me reasons to go from one scene to the other. I mean, you know, what was the one where people die and come back? The thing with Kevin Bacon, I think.
Oh, Flatliners?
Flatliners. Perfectly decent example. Didn't know anything about the movie, but while I was watching it, I enjoyed, you know, one moment to the next. In this one, even that basic mechanic of filmmaking has just broken down. Boy, and until he has the technology to drain people's minds, the Joker, the Riddler, has no motivation to do anything that he's doing. I don't even know what he's doing. And where do they get, you know, I find it increasingly difficult to deal with these supervillains who, because they have the name supervillain, are suddenly capable of works of science and architecture that would have really slowed down FDR during wartime, when they could do just about anything in 10 minutes. How on earth are they getting these things built? And I know this is a universe with a bat cave and all sorts of other improbable things, but there's improbable and then there's just stupid. And this falls into the realm of the, oh, come on.
Yeah, like towards the end, you know, there's the bat plane and the bat boat. And you'd figure the bat plane, if it's going out of a cave, it should go just straight out. But no, it has to do all the curves and whirly stuff. And it's like, that makes no sense at all. But the boat just kind of shoots out. It's like Robin is all, oh, I can't promise you I won't kill Harvey. I won't kill Harvey Dent. But what does Batman do? Harvey flips the coin. Batman throws a bunch of coins in, and Harvey chases after them. So essentially, Batman kills Harvey for Robin. It feels like, this really feels like it wasn't, here's a script, who do we hire to play these roles? It's, who do we hire to play these roles? Okay, we got that. Now let's do the script.
Yeah, I agree. And is it just me, or does Harvey Dent really have only one personality in this
He only
movie?
has one personality. He only has one.
Like, I think maybe only once or twice he flips it and it's good. And that's a coin that is statistically weighted by the screenwriters. But Harvey, he flips the coin and he just seems disappointed when it comes up good. I mean, that's it. He seems a little disappointed. And the whole essence of Two-Face is that he could be completely good.
Mm-hmm.
It just depends. And to abandon that, for a screenwriter to abandon that, because that's what I call, you know, screenwriting candy. That's the stuff that you want. That's the good stuff. You know, it's like, oh, I get to write Two-Face. And then to not take advantage of that is just sad, I think.
I think their biggest mistake here, too, is I don't think you need two villains for this movie. I think you could just have Two-Face if you cast someone.
We're getting two villains.
I love Tommy Lee Jones to death. Great actor. But I would not have cast Tommy Lee Jones to play Harvey Dent Two-Face. I mean, first of all, even at this point in time, he looks too old to play the character. Billy D. Williams actually somewhat reminded me of Harvey Dent, like how happy Harvey could be in the first movie.
Well, yeah, we only see Harvey in the good times, basically.
Yeah, and it's like the next time you see Harvey Dent, well, here's Tommy Lee Jones. And it's like, I like Aaron Eckhart's portrayal of Harvey Dent. I thought that was great.
Very good.
With this, it just you don't get much of Tommy Lee Jones as Harvey Dent. You get when Maroney threw the acid in his face at the courthouse, and Batman just magically appears out of nowhere, and it's just like, okay.
Yeah, especially since the whole thing about Two-Face is it's not. I mean, Jones plays him as kind of like Riddler Jr. But
Yes.
what you've got a duality between the guy who's used to following the law and the guy who is, and a guy who has had something random happen to him, and he can't even make a straight decision. He has to use a coin to determine how he's going to be. I mean, there's a very rich storytelling right there. But no, they had to have Jim Carrey basically goon as the Riddler, and it feels like it's like they thought, okay, well, we'll have Edward Nygma as a fawning fanboy scientist that will turn because Bruce Wayne does. This is just a bad movie. This is just a bad movie.
You know what got people to the movie theater, honestly, other than the trailer? Goddamn Seal song, "Kiss from a Rose." That's all made money.
Hey, I bought the soundtrack, and that was a really good soundtrack. You've got "Kiss from a Rose." You've got "Hold Me, Throw Me, Kiss Me, Kill Me" by U2. You've got a really great cover of "Mash It Up" by The Offspring, and the original was done by a punk band called The Damned. And if I can take just one divergence to the Tim Burton Dark Shadows movie, why have Alice Cooper when Dave Vanian of The Damned is right there? The man dresses like a vampire. He's got a whole punk band behind him. That's who you have in Dark Shadows. By the way, documentary, The Damned, Don't You Wish That They Were Dead? Streaming on Tubi. But yeah, I mean, but anyway, yeah, it's like, this is just so many. It's one thing to do. This is the work of someone who really does not care about what he's doing. It's just like, yeah, Schumacher, he got the check. He's like, okay, I'll do this. I'll do whatever I need to do. I mean, there isn't even like, it's not even hack work.
I don't know. I think Schumacher cares because there's a lot of creativity in the movie. It's just bad. It's just bad taste, and but I think this is really before the rise of geek culture.
Mm-hmm.
When, the idea of staying true to the source material was the dumbest thing you could do. You had to comment on it, or you had to deviate from it. But, God forbid that Richard Donner, who did this better than anybody else, had success with it by, treating the source material seriously. Who cares? I think, I feel sorry for Joel Schumacher. I think he was told, give us a toyetic movie.
Mm-hmm.
And he did. And I think he had so little connection with geek culture, but thought it was easy. Probably thought, oh, well, this is all I need to do, without, sitting down and realizing, oh, wow, this is paper cinema.
Is it? Maybe I'm reaching here. Okay, so Warner Brothers is the studio behind the Batman movies and Batman Forever. They're behind a movie called The Memoirs of the Invisible Man. Is there just something wrong with Warner Brothers or what?
Oh, every studio has terrible movies they make. Jewel, it's Sturgeon's Law. Sturgeon's Law is something I've talked about. I talked about it in the Daybook, named after Theodore Sturgeon, the science fiction writer. And it states that 90 to 95% of everything is crap.
Yeah.
And the wonderful thing, if you apply that really, really rigorously to your own work, man, the 10% you get is really good. So that can be a tool that works both ways.
Mm-hmm. And something to also keep in mind, which is that Members of the Invisible Man, without taking all of the blame away from Warner Brothers, the main fault of that movie can be summed up in 2 words or one name: Chevy Chase.
Yeah.
Because Warner Brothers, the conglomerate, owns DC Comics, so that's how they were able to get. That's why they did all the Batman movies. And at the time, Warner executives kind of, they kind of, Chase was like, well, I want to be seen more on camera in a movie about an invisible man, and they kind of kowtowed. And I think this was where they were thinking. At this point, they had 2 successful Batman movies, and they weren't thinking in the way terms now, where it's a lot more integrated and synergized and all that other stuff. And I think they just said, okay, give us a toyetic movie, but also, okay, let's hire the guy who did Lost Boys. Let's hire the guy who's going to give us all flashy and showy and make it more comic booky and toyetic. And Schumacher, I don't know if he took that brief and just said, okay, I'm going to give you all the toyetic that I can, or he had just a unique idea of what that meant. But and the other thing too is that the script is just.
Yeah, would this movie have been better if they just, he kept Schumacher and his gadgets and his lighting and everything else, he just gave it a better script.
That's what I'm thinking. If it had a better script,
it'd be an episode of The Flash.
I mean, and this is definitely like, okay, pure Jim Carrey was like, he was the hot comedy guy at the time. So it's like, okay, let's throw him in there without really thinking about, does he serve a purpose?
You know what Tommy Lee Jones said to him when he met him? He said, I've heard about your buffoonery and I will stand for none of it.
Well, I think that's the thing. Like, I talked about how Val Kilmer is fresh off Tombstone and the success of that, and he's a red hot actor at the time. Jim Carrey is fresh off Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. The
Mask.
The Mask. Yeah, I mean, it's just
The Mosque.
So he's successful now, and I love Jim Carrey as a performer. I do think he's talented. But I also think I could have went with Robin Williams and got a hell of a better performance.
You would have gotten a performance.
Yeah, and the thing to keep in mind, though, is with like Val Kilmer, he's coming off of a solid movie, and he headed into another solid movie. And he had a reputation at the time of being maybe a bit difficult, but he had a reputation of being a good actor. With Carrey, his reputation was he was a bankable star. He was there to drive the box office. Yeah. And so it's, with a better script, I think Kilmer's Batman would have been all the much stronger, because it does feel like at times it feels like Kilmer's like, okay, where the only real scene where I feel like it all comes together is the one at the very end where he says, I am Bruce Wayne and I am Batman. Not because I have to be, but because I choose to be.
What a nice theme. Wouldn't it have been great if the movie had supported that? If it had really been about that journey? Hardcore. Do you feel like that survived from a draft that got lost?
Mm-hmm. And what's interesting is if you take away the Riddler, you've, Batman, Two-Face. You've got Bruce Wayne's struggling with these two sides of him, but he's bringing them together. And Harvey, they're split apart. And you also then, with Robin, you have the idea that, part of taking on a partner means you have to have your stuff together in order to accept help.
What did you think of Chris O'Donnell as Robin, Jordan?
I think he's
yes.
I think he's there.
He's fine. I mean, he reads the lines written in a believable manner. I don't really care about that character very much. But yeah, he's too old. He's way too old for the part. He looks like he's about 30. But yeah, I mean, he's fine. None of the casting in the movie, with the exception of Jim Carrey, is really awful. I mean, Tommy Lee Jones is a little weird, but none of the casting in the film is the problem. It's what they're asked to do and how they're asked to do it.
Yeah, I think, again, there's good moments in this movie. I do like how the Riddler's costume looks.
The costuming's fine.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with any of the costuming. I do think the acting isn't bad in the sense, but I also think we've had three Batman movies in, and every time Batman has to have a damsel in distress, like Dr. Chase Meridian. It's like, why? A psychologist.
Well, that's the business side of movie making. You need a female lead, because the way, especially in the 90s, movies, maybe even more than now, you're looking at what demographic do we bring in, and how do we bring in families? Because when you look at Batman Returns, there was a lot of protest because that movie was supposed to be family friendly and it was dark.
Yeah.
And so I think this was meant to be that's why Schumacher went in kind of the opposite direction. But yeah, it's kind of the okay, we need to have a female lead. For the first movie, it's Kim Basinger. She's a very popular actress. Second movie, it was Michelle Pfeiffer, popular actress. Third was Nicole Kidman, who I think was starting to become popular. And then I think, the fourth movie is Alicia Silverstone, who was the then It girl, and Uma Thurman. But here it's not, I think if there was a better script, Schumacher might have actually had something to direct the actors with, and I think we would have gotten slightly better performances, because you can see where here it's like, I think the actors are struggling with, it's a big splashy thing. Where are the key moments? I mean, the fact that Kilmer doesn't really it never feels like it comes together until that ending line. I don't think it's they're doing a bad job. They're just not being given a lot to do.
I think one of the best early moments that they have is when Two-Face comes to the circus and Bruce Wayne's in the stands, and he says, if Batman, doesn't reveal himself, I'll kill everybody. He'll kill people here. And I love how everyone's like reacting, and you get Bruce Wayne, Val Kilmer's character, saying, Harvey, and he can't hear him because they're over the crowd. And this is where you get the Flying Graysons get involved and try to save everybody. They get shot for their trouble and then fall to their death. Hell of a scene. I do like how they put over the Robin character here, because here's a family that tried to help the situation, and got killed for doing so.
Mm-hmm.
It's a sad day for the Graysons.
Yeah.
Amanda Grayson, Spock's mother. Where is she in all this?
I think I would have rather as a damsel, and I like Nicole Kidman, but I would have, instead of Dr. Chase Meridian, why can't we get Barbara Gordon?
That doesn't happen until the next movie.
Yeah,
and that's not even Barbara Gordon. But here's the thing, Joel. Like it would be nice if we could after the fact kind of edit the movie and change things. They made decisions that they thought they were making at the time, and it's easy that they thought they were the best decisions they could be making at the time. It's very easy when we look at this stuff, especially when it goes horribly wrong, to kind of play that what if, well, they should have done this and they should have done that. You can't evaluate a piece on how you thought you could improve it. You have to always evaluate it on what you're being given. I mean, I think the only way this movie could be any worse is if Tommy Wiseau had directed it.
You know what, Joel? It's easy to grin when your ship comes in and you've got the stock market beat. But the man worthwhile is the man who can smile when his pants are too tight in the seat.
Very nice. Very nice.
From Caddyshack.
What's you guys' favorite scene in this movie? You have one?
Jewel, I'm glad you put that codicil
on
there.
The end credits. That's my favorite scene because it is over.
I gotta say, the man's right. This is a dog.
We do. I'll tell you the part I liked most, because we get a bit of a callback to the Adam West Batman when Robin says, "Holy rusted metal, Batman." So I like that. That's one of my favorite scenes.
Yeah, I got a laugh in the theater.
Yeah, I got a little bit of a familiar laugh, but also keep in mind one of the rumors that was going around since the first Batman movie was that they're going to hire Adam West to play Thomas Wayne, because the thinking was, and yes, I'm going to say this out loud, but it's what people actually believed, that moviegoers would actually pay good money to see Adam West get shot on screen.
No, I wouldn't pay money to see Adam West get shot. That's sick.
That's wrong.
Yeah, but that was the tenor for a lot of kind of real grimdark. Yeah, Batman's a creature of the night, dude.
There was a lot. There was a lot of that.
Oh my god. I really don't have much to say about the movie in general, other than
that speaks well of you.
I do wish it would have been better.
Yes, who doesn't wish it would have been better?
Again, I love all the actors in it, but again, like, I do agree with you guys. They don't have the greatest script here.
I mean, SAG should have acted on their behalf or something. Come in and put a fine on the filmmakers for sticking all these good actors in a bad movie. Drew Barrymore, Debbie Mazar, wasted.
Drew Barrymore, who plays Sugar. She plays Sugar. Oh my god.
That one half of Tommy Lee Jones's face is not enough.
No. I like how the Two-Face thugs are wearing like these messed up masks and stuff. That's just hilarious.
And those crazy neon drums and their machine guns. What's that all about?
I will say again that this, to me, what made this movie was the soundtrack. Like, if you bought this movie for no other reason, it was to hear the soundtrack.
Yeah,
I bought the orchestral score. I did.
Yeah, I bought the pop music soundtrack.
Yeah, you could go to a record store and buy the soundtrack, which was cool. What was the first soundtrack you guys ever bought? First movie soundtrack you ever bought?
That I bought or was given?
Bought.
Star Trek 3.
Nice.
Animal House.
Nice. Very, very nice.
But I had been given just a few weeks before Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. So
Nice. Mine was Mission Impossible 2. That was the first one I ever bought. So I don't have nothing to add about the movie, guys. You guys got anything or no?
go with God.
Do you guys want to just go ahead and do Batman and Robin or no?
I'll show up to do Batman and Robin.
Okay, tomorrow.
I mean, it doesn't have to be a long one.
No.
Yeah, I can show up tomorrow too.
The Ice Age.
Yeah, we cast an Arnold Schwarzenegger to play Mr. Freeze. Very, very interesting. So
Weird.
I'm also
Even
going to
weirder casting.
tomorrow. I'm also going to give you who I'd like to see as a modern Poison Ivy. So, guys, links to Gordon Dymowski's Amazon page is going to be in the description box. Links to Patrick McCray's Dark Shadows Daybook About is going to be in the description box. Go pick that up.
Karen Gillan.
What's that?
Karen Gillan.
For Poison Ivy?
Yeah.
I have a name for you tomorrow night. I won't spoil it here.
It's not a female wrestler, is it? Okay, good.
Is it Judi Dench?
No. Here, I will give you one hint. She was involved in the Halloween franchise. All right, you guys have
Jamie Lee Curtis. Okay, yeah, she'd make a great Poison Ivy.
No.
She's more like Vandal Savage.
No, not Jamie Lee Curtis. But I'll see you guys tomorrow night at 11. And thank you for joining me for Batman Returns. We all agree that this movie...
Batman and Robin. Or no, what the hell was it? Batman Forever.
Oh, yeah, Batman Forever. Sorry.
Or Batman
Thank you for joining me for Batman Forever.
No, not to be confused with Rock and Roll High School Forever, starring Corey Feldman. Just want to make that clear.
Is that with Dr. Vader?
I think so.
Mary Warrenoff. God, what a woman.
Now, she would make a great Poison Ivy. Especially if you have Venus and First by the Velvet Underground playing in the background. That would be
nice. Well, before we go, I want to touch on something about Alice Cooper. Now, did you guys know that he actually puts motor oil on his face?
No.
For his concerts?
I think you're confusing him with Rudy Giuliani.
Julia, remember that.
I'll try.
His head was leaking some black fluid.
I'll try to remember. Gentlemen, it is always a pleasure. You guys have a good night, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care.
Good night.